Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Welcome to Born to Achieve podcast, the show that inspires and motivates you to unlock your full potential and achieve your goals. With your host, Warren Andrew Pinder. Let's get started on this week's episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve.
I am born to achieve, and so are you. Here on another episode of the Born to Achieve podcast. Today, I will be coming to you solo as my guest and co-host for the last few episodes. We were unable to connect as I traveled and our schedules could not fit in our recording of this episode for this week. So this week's episode, we'll be speaking of the benefits of sharing. Sharing for years, is something that is done every day and something that's so important that we have taken for granted in so many ways. As kids, the importance of teaching us, how necessary it is to learn to share, because it is simply how we learn. So I'll stop again, just giving a simple definition of what sharing is simply an activity, namely of information, skills, and expertise that is exchanged among people to learn from, to teach others how not to make the same mistake in what has been done before, and how innovation and technology, science, research have been done. And so when we have come up with these great ideas and developed these great ideas, we want to share them. And whether it's in a formal setting as an institution from kindergarten to university, the importance of sharing goes deep into our communities and our neighborhoods. Because when we teach kids at an early age the importance of sharing, everyone participates and have fun. If a toy is purchased for a child and they learn to share that toy with someone that does not have it, simply it creates that activity and there's a lesson, and the child benefits later on, because somewhere down the line, he's taught not to live a selfish life, but he's taught that in sharing, you help others, that in return, that help someday can come to you. That is extremely important, because when we create participation, when we share, you have fun. So whether it's in playing games or sharing food or reading, sharing music, sharing an invitation to participate in something, it creates an environment, a community that we want to foster in our lives. We don't want to hold everything back. I mean, you can't share everything, but you have to know that what is important, what can be shared, especially to those that are less fortunate than others. I know as a child growing up, this is something that my mom, an angel in heaven, that had taught each of us, and persons that know me or know my family, my father, would have known that I can tell you on Sunday, growing up here in the Bahamas, it was a joy to pack 14, 15 children from the community into an old Volkswagen bus that my dad drove and took us to the beach. Maybe those kids could not get there, or they had to walk long to get to the beach because we're surrounded by beaches. But he would share the experience that he gave to his 4 children with the entire community. That taught us that we had to, we are our brother's keepers. And sharing was important. I know I shared too much because I was give away everything, if you ask me. My kind nature, they may have somehow taught me to share just a little too much. But in the context of the importance of sharing, we have to go back to the simple and basics of it. Because, as I said, social and personal effects of sharing helps everyone. It helps everyone. It helps others that, whether it's back in the day, You could go to your neighbor because you didn't have it, but a meal could have been cooked because they could get it from you. It may just be an ingredient that they needed. Do you have some tomato paste? Do you have a stick of butter? Do you have any seasoning or pepper or lime to make the food taste just a little better? And somewhere down the line, you could reach out to that neighbor and they would share with you because of your extending to them what you would have shared. Crime in the neighborhood could be reduced if we are learned or taught to share at an early age, because you're not going to hold on or be selfish. And that person, that child growing up with you, seeing you with those nice toys or that nice clothes or that whatever it is that they don't have to now begin to covet what you're doing and plot on how they can steal it from you. So the community and the neighborhood becomes better as a result of us learning or teaching our kids to share. Sometimes as adults, with our colleagues and at our workplace and at church and other places, we find ourselves that because we taunt it and we show it off. And others that don't have, it creates a bit of animosity. So sharing is an example of coming together in participation, because if you have and I don't have, and you're creating this environment that we all enjoy, we have fun. I don't have to actually give you my possessions, but I share what I can create, the activity that I can create that everyone benefits. And then it turns into a positive of me teaching you, that may motivate you to want to work harder or explain how can I get that which I've just enjoyed.
Thank you for joining today's podcast. We'll be right back.
Achieve Man, written by Warren Andrew Pinder and Dominique Bradford. This book passionately focuses on the challenges women have been made to go through and how to overcome them. In some cultures, being a woman disadvantages the girl child. This book carefully exposes the hurdles you might face. This masterpiece is the ultimate self-help guide for women. It reveals your true purpose and identity. Get your copy today. Available from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
Sharing is valuable. When we share, we can help others with valuable insight as to what has and hasn't worked, that mistakes are not repeated. So we may have done some things in relationships and how we may have ran persons away, or how things that we may have hurt other people and we may not understand, but in really sitting down and when we're talking and we're sharing these experiences, others may have been able to correct it and say that, something you may have done that wrong. Maybe you want to apologize because you may have offended. So you could have caused or spoiled a good relationship. So for instance, it's good to share. I'm an advocate of sharing positive things. Most likely and more often we share negatives. People love to come and run and tell you something that's negative, which really equates to rumors, spreading rumors, lies. But if we take the positive side of what we can share, we can help so many people. We would be able to help them from making mistakes that maybe we would have, or doing something better because it's been done before. Children sharing, and sometimes you help someone with your homework because you know how to do it. You can share and teach a person how to save. That's how you got what you have. You can share a negative experience that someone else may not end up in jail. You can share that it's not worth robbing someone and putting yourself in a situation that you can become incarcerated. See, sharing is a daily part and an intangible asset, valuably intangible in our lives. Everything around us today is sharing, especially on social media. We spend a great time. Those of you there, I commend those of you that are not on it, but for most persons, we spend a great amount of time of our day sharing information that's not even relevant to us, information that don't even make sense. but we can flip it out. We can send it out. We're going to share it. And some people buy into it, especially right now when you look at what's going on with the U.S. politics and elections and so forth. That information just being thrown out there like that, and some people just buying it because it's sharing it, and it's creating some false narratives. It's creating a lot of anxiety. But persons don't even want to fact check and know the truth because it's sensational to them and what they're hearing. Yes, and it could determine or affect the elections of the greatest power in the world. That's how powerful sharing is. So we need to really appreciate that we can sit and change the hearts and mind of an individual with what it is that we choose to share with them. If you have expertise, if you have an abundance of knowledge, if you have faith, if you believe that you are and that you can achieve whatever it is that God has given you, a higher power, all of that don't make no sense if you don't share it correctly. The power of sharing is so deep. We can, in our lives, do so much for so many if only we don't hold back. We need to learn to give. And see, there's a difference between the word sharing and giving. But if you don't, it equates to the same that you're mean. You're selfish. You're all into yourself. This is what the world needs. The world needs to be doused with positivity. Those of you that have it, those of you that can write songs, those of you that can tell poetry, those of you that can express yourself, that have the platforms to do so, you have to learn to share it, to share what you have been given. Don't just take, but give. And sharing is giving. See, it's very simple. Either you have it or you don't. If someone asks, either you can or you can't. But don't close your heart, your mind, your hands to the fact that God has blessed you and you don't want to share. You'll go and you have it and you'll go and put that 10% in the church because you think that, or you're being taught that that's going to get you through the pearly gates. But that hungry brother or sister, oh man, you look at them and you turn your head. But that's how we living out here. That's how we living in this world. You know, and there's a quote, I don't know the author, but it reads, in the context of real need, few people will withhold their knowledge. You can take that however it's read, but when you need it deeply, that's when you have to share it. That's when you can see someone may be at their last. I mean, come on, it's all about someone taught you, the teacher, the doctor before, who would have had to written journals. You got that information. So why not, if you have delivered 1,000 babies, why can't you share, your expertise and some things that you would have seen gone wrong? Why, if you know the Lord, whatever it is in your expertise, be there and offer to share. And that's why, myself, I just for a minute, I have to speak about it because I want to introduce to you. What I've done is myself and my partner is Dominic Bradford and lives in Canada. We have created a space, an entity called Achieve Movement, Inc., the purpose of which is to create the space where both men and women can sit and tell their truth and find their purpose. This ain't about catching gap seed or taking information and listening, but a platform where you will be able to share your successes.
Now for a commercial break.
Achieve Men, written by Warren Andrew Pinder. In this book, you will learn the 7 steps to achieving your dreams and goals. Given the vision to share how the acronym of the word achieve can be used systematically in your day-to-day life. Each of us is given a unique gift from God. Get your copy today. Available in print, ebook, and audiobook from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
To share your dreams, your aspirations, and The goal is that you are able to help others to do the same. See, when people see us, they look at us, they can look at us either in a negative or positive. And if they see that we're trying to help, then we begin to build this tribe, a tribe of achievers, a tribe of persons who understand the meaning of sharing. And I invite you to join that tribe. You can hit us up at achieve-movements.ca or www.achieve-movementinc.ca. And then check our website, www.borntoachievegreatness.com. And we realize the importance of encouraging persons to share their achievements, that others may be motivated to learn and to become achievers. See, that's how important sharing is, giving back. Brother Miles Monroe said, some of the greatest historians are in the grave. They took their knowledge to the grave. The most valuable, the graveyards are the most valuable places on earth because persons did not give back. So, it's my hope that like in this podcast, it's just really, about us giving back, learning to share, understanding the difference between giving and sharing. Sharing should be joy. Sharing should be creating a fun environment, like a party, man. You sharing and celebrating your birthday or your anniversary, your wedding, inviting someone to dinner to share with them a conversation, having fun, participating in eating that scrumptious meal or drinking that fine wine, having your best beer. If you're on a boat, inviting someone out to enjoy what you see, the beautiful waters and places where some people can't go. That's what we're talking about, sharing. Giving when you got to reach into your pocket and try and buy and so forth. Yeah, we know that's special and we know that you hold on, but we don't want you to be mean. We're asking you to share. You're going to create an environment where someone is going to really come and take what it is you have because you did not share. So let us appreciate what we have and share what it is we can, that others may have fun and be able to appreciate your sharing what you've been blessed with. And as I said, I want to segue into this episode of the Born to Achieve podcast, sharing of our fathers, this upcoming Father's Day on Sunday. Today, a day where fathers should be celebrated for what they share, their hard work, where they share providing for the family, sacrifices all the sacrifices that fathers have given to their kids in sharing what they have, ensuring that they are sheltered, they are fed, that they have fun, with the toys that they purchase. And for you men who have children and are not in the lives of those kids and are not sharing what you have with those kids, really give great consideration. Those kids need you. You need to be sharing in their lives. But this ain't the time to bash no father, because each child is a blessing to a father and a mother. And on this special occasion for fathers, we want to lift you up. We want to lift you men up to bring to the point that you may have heard what it is about sharing that's so important, that you become a part, sharing in that child's life, sharing in his education, sharing in the upbringing, because some mothers really need you men to step up. Or I should say you fathers to step up. Those of you that are doing an excellent job, I congratulate you. And happy Father's Day to all fathers around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and motivating. Born to Achieve. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. Stay focused on your goals, and we'll see you on the next episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve.